I'm still pissed about the calendar. I know, that's pretty good.
Step 10 equal to step 1. Everybody's coming tonight? Step 10 is equal to step 1, Jeff, in case you didn't realize. Average.
Oh, yeah.
So I go ahead and start, or wait for these people?
Two, let them shuffle in.
6:02.
Get down short, but no problem.
Yeah, we can. I think our policy says 5 minutes.
3 minutes.
That one of them.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I just saw someone practicing.
They were practicing.
Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, this meeting has been duly advertised in the South Jersey Times and the Sentinel. The municipal clerk of the township has been duly notified, and the requirements of posting of notices have been met. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Trish, if you call a roll, please.
Bellis? Here. Caselli? Here. Changlini? Here. Kowalski? Here. Cunningham? Here. Doyle? Here. Burgoso? Here. Michael? Here. Trace? Here. Brent?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. The first item on our agenda this evening is the recognition of our Governor's Teacher of the Year award recipients. First up would be Mr. Kovic. He'll introduce us to his Janvier Teacher of the Year.
Thank you, Mr. Brent. And thank you to the Board of Education for giving us the opportunity this evening to recognize our Educators of the Year. For Mary F. Janvier Elementary, I'm very proud to announce and to recognize Mrs. Louise Tavernet. Mrs. Tavernet. It's almost like sooner than luck. All right, so now the foot's on, or the shoe's on the other foot. But anyway, a little bit of information about Miss Tavernet. She's in her 5th year with us here at Franklin Township as a full-time second grade ELA teacher. Prior to that, she was a part-time basic skills teacher within our school, Mary F. Janvier. And before that, she also has some educational experience in the classroom in the Buna Regional School District. Ms. Tavernet is a graduate of Williamstown High School. She holds 2 bachelor's of arts degrees, one in elementary education from Rowan University, and the other also from Rowan in history. As far as involvement, Mrs. Tavernet is very involved in our school through various committees, including the Character Education Safety Climate Committee, the Green Team, PTA Committee, and the School Spirit Committee. Really, I believe what best describes Ms. Tavernet, however, are the comments of parents and also of her colleagues. So some of those comments are, and I quote, from parents, "She promotes a sense of community amongst the class. Mrs. Tavernet recognizes each student's individual learning needs and is able to support each student in their learning. Mrs. Tavernet seems to really have compassion for the needs of our children, academically, emotionally, and socially. She is active in PTA events and shows time and effort into her job outside of the classroom. It is visible that she enjoys building character for our little ones and seems to dive into her love for her job." From her colleagues, and I quote, "Her outstanding work ethic, tremendous effort, and compassion and care shown for her students do not go unnoticed. She works late and comes in early to prepare for her lessons because she wants her students to get the most out of their learning. Mrs. Tavernet is an amazing teacher who truly cares about her students' well-being. She is dedicated, extremely organized, and a huge asset to our school." And from me, Mrs. Tavernier is a professional who consistently demonstrates exceptional dedication towards the education of her students. She considers herself a lifelong learner who recognizes the importance of adapting instruction in a manner that celebrates student strengths while promoting their growth. Mrs. Tavernier values the professional relationships that she has developed with both past and present students and their parents and guardians. In Mrs. Tavernier's spare time, she enjoys listening to music, visiting historic sites and museums, remaining up to date on current events, reading, taking walks, traveling, visiting boardwalks and beaches, and spending time with her family and friends. Louise, very well deserved, and congratulations.
Good evening, everybody. It's my privilege at this time to ask Mrs. Beth Bauer to come to the front. Mrs. Bauer has been named as the Ritter School Educator of the Year. Mrs. Bauer has been an educator for the past 10 years, 9 of which as a special education teacher at Ritter School. She graduated from Monmouth College in Illinois with her Bachelor of Science degree in elementary education, and also from St. Joseph's University with a Master's of Science focusing in behavior analysis. Most noted by Mrs. Auer's colleagues is her active participation in the school community. She's actively involved in different activities, including our Climate and Culture Committee and our Academic Incentive Committee. She is credited for creating our school's Brand Strong initiative, which is a core foundation of our school's nationally recognized character development program. She takes pride in researching and sharing multiple activities and strategies that teachers can use to better educate their students, both about our character traits and also in ways to differentiate instruction. As one of Mrs. Auer's fellow grade level colleagues stated, Beth is a constant advocate for her students, working with each student directly to cater to his or her academic, behavioral, and social-emotional needs. As I enter the building each day, Beth is often seen already walking the hallways throughout the school, checking in with other teachers in order to discuss curriculum, extracurricular activities, or simply just to check in on one of the students who she has in one of her language arts classes. She collaborates with staff members and is an active part of our school community. Her dedicated work ethic and passion for children and teaching are amongst many of the reasons why she deserves to be Educator of the Year. Congratulations.
Mine's here. Oh, what do you think? You have that one too? Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Very well, Mrs. Gold, trying to get me off this. So, even larger privilege, we also had another staff member here from Ritter School that I would like to also call to the front, Mrs. Lisa Dakota. Very special for us at Ritter School that we were able to acknowledge 2 wonderful individuals this year. Mrs. Pagoda has been named as the District Educational Support Professional of the Year. And so Mrs. Pagoda has been a valuable support staff member, serving as an instructional aide at Ritter School for the past 7 years. She genuinely cares about the students she works with. She's an extraordinarily patient, consistent, and positive within the classroom. She takes time to build rapport with students, learning about their likes, their interests, and also really trying to get to know them. She recognizes the amazing things that they do in class, all while being fair and firm. During her career at Ritter School, Mrs. Pagoda has provided sound instructional assistance to students in a variety of settings across the school. As described by her colleagues, she takes an active role in the classroom that she's in. While she takes direction very well, Mrs. Pagoda's strength is her active approach to her job. She is also extremely collaborative and is willing to share her ideas and offer support. Mrs. Pagoda is also actively involved in our school community in addition to her role as an instructional aide. She plans for our school-wide character development events while participating in our climate and culture committee. New this year, Mrs. Pagoda is planning to facilitate an after-school gardening club as an extracurricular activity. And I also do want to mention that Mrs. Garrity and I tremendously appreciate everything that you do while helping out in our main office. Congratulations, Mrs.
My turn?
Leah.
We got one more.
Leah.
Sorry, Mrs. Paul, can you please come up? Mrs. Morley couldn't be here this evening, but this is our Teacher of the Year for Main Road School. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce you all to her, Mrs. Paula Bernard. She is our world language teacher as well as one of our ESL teachers for the district. Main Road is excited to announce her as the 2022 Teacher of the Year. She amplifies what it means to be an amazing educator and colleague. As our school system becomes increasingly diversified, she is dedicated to instruct her students, offer ELL services, and support fellow educators above and beyond any and all expectations. It's apparent that her students learn so much and are excited to learn about world languages when they arrive and leave her classroom. Our ELL students are learning more and more every day. I can't help but hear their excitement as they go down the hallway and learn how to communicate more effectively with their English-speaking friends. She holds the needs of each individual child, just as important as the last. Dividing her time and space to spread her expertise between different buildings is nothing short of amazing. She always is able to provide magnificent lessons and activities that are meaningful and motivating. There are many times when I've seen her provide support to other colleagues, either helping communicate with a bilingual student and their parents, providing resources for ELL, or even just being a teacher who is eager to plan cross-curricular lessons that make connections for all of our students. We are very fortunate to have someone like Mrs. Bernard in our district and our community.
Congratulations to all the Teacher of the Year recipients. At this time, I'd like to make a motion. We open our meeting to the public for comment regarding agenda items. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Is there anyone from the public who'd like to address the board regarding any items on the agenda this evening? Step up now, please. Seeing no one, I make a motion. We close to the public. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? We do have the necessity this evening for an executive session to review items listed as negotiations, personnel, legal, and contract litigation or negotiations. Taking approximately 30 minutes. 30 to 45 minutes. We'll make it as expeditious as possible. With that, I make a motion. We move into executive session at 6:15. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We shall return. Do I need this? Have an executive at 7:11. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Moving on with our agenda, school board president report. I don't have anything specific to report this evening. Mrs. Caselli, do you have anything from NJ SBA?
Yes, I'm sorry, February 23rd is the virtual county conference, if you wanted to sit on that, February 23rd, and sorry, February 22nd is the next governance session. That's virtual as well, so if anyone hasn't completed that. That's it.
One quick thing while I think about it, don't forget your financial disclosures. I know Trish had sent out I'm pretty sure I'll be the one that forgets, so I'm just reminding myself, but for everybody else, what is it, April 15th?
April 30th.
April 30th?
Yes.
So when you do your taxes, do your financial disclosure. Any board liaison reports? No, Ms. Caselli, was it a pep rally?
I did a lot of things. Actually, I went to First Friday at Ritter, walked through the entire school, saw all the wonderful activities that all of the kids were doing. My favorite happened to be the macrame, which next First Friday, I'm actually going to participate in that and do it. I know I can do it, so I'm very excited for this. All of the kids were super, super excited that everyone was actively participating in everything. The kids were making salads, pizzas, decorating cupcakes, volleyball, I think they were throwing turkeys. What were they throwing?
Yes, chickens.
Chickens. They were in the ring with the darts. Puzzles. They had puzzles. They were doing astrology. I mean, it was really amazing to see. Oh my gosh! How about my what's the one, limbo? They were doing limbo. They were doing the Zumba instructor. She was incredible. I think I saw her here. Incredible. Yeah. I mean, that was just absolutely amazing to see how the teachers engaged every child with something that they might not necessarily have ever been exposed to with something else. So it was a lot of fun. All the kids were in the macrame room and they were like, and then at the end they were like, look what we did. And so it was really, really a good time. And then we had the pep rally as well, which I couldn't hear for 2 days after. To see the kids cheering, for the teachers as they were spinning the wheel to pick out which teacher was going to participate in the event. They did a pie eating, or they had to get the bubble gum, and there was one particular teacher that had 94 votes from the kids that they wanted to see him. I can't get it. I mean, I don't know who it was.
Say their name?
94 votes for Mr. Stagliano to be in the pie eating contest. And when it was done, I think he was the dirtiest. I mean, I have pictures that I'll disseminate to everyone. And it was really, really, really a fun time. All the kids were just had a great time. It was really, really a nice reward for all of them. So that's it.
Good. Anyone else? All right. Moving on, we have our minutes from our January 23rd regular board meeting. So everyone's had an opportunity to review them. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as listed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any revisions or changes?
No.
Hearing none. All in approval of those minutes?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain.
Noted.
All right, human resources items.
Yeah, so the personnel items we had already reviewed. Policy, actually, Michelle.
So the policy committee met on February 8th. It was myself, Troy, Alicia, and Diane. And basically we went over the alerts that were issued from Stroud Esme. So you're going to see for first reading policy 0161. which is on call, adjournment, and cancellation of board meetings. Basically, this is just a revision to better align with the governing statute that is enacted. 0162, notice of board meetings. Again, really just additional information on when the board can conduct an emergency meeting, that the notice that has to be given, and some details that were explained more in depth in terms of rights notice for staff. We did, and I don't know if you were able to talk with Jeff Troy about those.
Yeah, there was no need to put a time
Okay.
in there.
All right.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That was 0162. 2425 is really it's a different number. We had to get rid of the physical education, which we have under a different policy. This is for virtual instruction. It's mandated. It's new. So it's really just a housekeeping issue because a lot of what we already had in our policy is part of this, but we adopted this one. Then policy 5200, attendance. This is really just giving the rules where, because when we do have attendance, the state identifies absence as just an absence, and where the district can come up with excused absences. So this allows us to identify what we consider to be an excused absence and an unexcused absence, just lays those out a little bit more. Policy 5512, the harassment, intimidation, and bullying. This is providing the school districts with the updated model policy that aligns with the Anti-Bullying Bill of Rights and the administrative code that was passed in 2017. So again, it's a lot of just housekeeping and language that's in there. Policy 8140 and reg has mostly definition changes. It reflects the changes to the administrative code as well and replaces definition for days in membership with average days or average daily attendance. And that's basically the way that it is recorded at the state register. Policy 8330, student records. Most of the changes are just citations and a language update. And I believe that covers the first reads. The one that's being abolished, the 1648, is now, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's going to be covered in our 20, is that the one that's covered in 2425?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
a portion of that. So that was the road forward COVID. We no longer need that policy.
Right.
However, we do need a portion that covers the remote, and that's what
Remote instruction.
Yeah, that's what the 2425 covers.
In case that there is a state emergency where we are required to close schools for 3 days or more, then we have to provide virtual instruction. We need to have a plan for that in place.
Any questions on policy? Are there any other questions on human resource items?
The only other human resource item was the school calendars there. It's under 12. If we had any questions on the school calendar?
It's my understanding this calendar doesn't match the Delsey calendar. Mr. Walton, is that true?
That is correct. Delsey actually is going to use 2 days in August for professional development and then have the students start on September 5th. In speaking with the TFEA leadership, they were unwilling to do that. They would much rather come back on a Monday in June. So we will be starting on September 1st, doing an in-service on that Tuesday after Labor Day. The kids will start on the 6th. And then fast forward, our kids will end on June 17th, which is a Monday, where Delsey will end on that Friday, the 14th.
Excuse me, Jason.
Sure.
Mr. President.
Sure.
Would you repeat that thing about Delsey again? How that?
The calendar, unfortunately, we do, before I came on the board, one of the biggest complaints I would hear from parents is, I don't understand why 2 districts can't match calendars when you're, cooperating districts. A lot of complaints from that. So every year we attempt to match the calendar as closely as possible. I was just pointing out that this year, we were unable to accommodate that due to the fact that there was some scheduling conflicts, and there was not an ability to make those arrangements to match the Delsey calendar.
Yeah, but how can you do that if a teacher's contract says September 1st?
Well, the Delsey does have in their contract where they're permitted to have 2 PD days prior to September 1st. There's language in their contract that they agreed to.
And we don't.
We don't have that.
So how can we do it?
Well, the association would have to agree to it. From what I understand, our support staff association agreed to it. However, the teaching staff
You could do that?
would not agree to it.
Yep. Yeah, we've done that in the past.
So it's an inconvenience for parents, but I guess,
That doesn't seem to match.
right. Parents with, students in both districts. Any other questions on the calendar or human resources? If not, I make a motion to approve human resource items G1 through G12 as recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I can call a roll, please, Trish.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Chenglini?
Yes.
Perwanski?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Education items.
Yeah, it's only to H3. We have a couple of out-of-district workshops listed, and H4, we have some in-district workshops for our upcoming PD day.
All right. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve education items H1 through H6 as recommended by the superintendent. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? Call the roll, please, Trish.
Chenglini?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry.
Perwanski?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. General administration.
We have general admin, just our normal monthly stuff for enrollment is listed there under I1, student attendance I2. I3 is our discipline, violence, vandalism, and HIB table for the month of January and includes your date as we do each month. Our drills are listed as required. We reviewed the HIB and the SDS in exec. That's it.
All right. There's no questions. I'll make a motion to approve general administration items I1 through I7 as recommended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other comments? Trish, can you call the roll, please?
Caselli?
Yes.
Chenglini?
Yes.
Perwanski?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Brett?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, Trish, operations.
Item number 1, claims are listed as well as payroll for the month of January 2023. There was a bill list added. That one is highlighted in yellow. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, moving on. Item 2, 3, and 4 refer to the month of December 2022. Transfer report, board secretary report, and the treasurer report. Item 5, we do have a cafeteria report for the month of December. Item 6, we do have 3 students listed for out-of-district and/or homeless tuition. Item 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are none. Item number 12, we have use of facilities request for the JMBR PTA to run their candy bar bingo activity. Item 13 is none, and item 14 is the auction specialist contract in regards to the Lake School property. Questions, comments? Thank you.
All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve operations items J1 through J14. Do I have a second? Second. Just for the public's information, We are soliciting bids for the Lake Road School. So if anybody in the community is either interested or knows someone who's interested, please pass that information along. Will we be advertising that on our website as well?
Yes.
And then what about legal advertisements?
There will be.
Legal advertisements, but
And it's already on the auctioneer's website.
auctioneers, max span, there's some two open houses scheduled, and the auction end date would be March 28th, 29th.
Yes.
So you have an opportunity to view the property and submit a bid. So with that, I made a motion to approve items and second them. If there's no other questions, if you call roll, please, Trish.
Yes. Doyle?
Yes.
Fregoso?
Yes, abstain.
Yes, abstain from bills 2 and 3, the Delsey Treasures.
Noted. Michael?
Yes.
Trace?
Yes.
Bellis?
Yes.
Caselli?
Yes.
Chenglini?
Yes.
Korwanski?
Yes.
Cunningham?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Under old business, we just have our standing old business items. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding board goals or anything in the yearly planning calendar? If not, we'll move on to new business, which is the verbal budget update. Trish?
Yeah, most of the items here are covered in executive session, giving the relation to unknown figures. However, we will be covering some projects that are necessary, and in terms of rock grants. Again, the state aid notices will probably come out February 23rd. The governor's address is February 21st. I've not heard anything about that being pushed back to date, so we'll obviously have more information once those figures come out.
Any questions for Trish on the budget? Good luck on the 23rd. Moving on, we have our second public comment portion. Make a motion, we open to the public. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions? Anybody wish to address the board, feel free to step up at this time. To the street. Yeah, please step up, sorry. If you, as far as you're comfortable coming up so we can hear you. Right there, right there. If you could, just state your name and address for the record, please.
No introduction necessary.
My name is Rita Callio. I live at 30 Valerie Court in Malaga. I was a teacher for 22 years. Jeff, Mr. Kachese, will probably tell you anyway, I worked for NJPA for 27 years. After that, I'm now retired and I'm speaking as a taxpayer. And my concern is obviously around the current negotiations. I have a concern as a taxpayer because almost 60% of my tax dollars goes to the Franklin Township School District and to the Delsey Regional School District. So I see you as a taxpayer as a K-12 district, or pre-K-12. And the disparities between the two salary guides trouble me. A teacher is a teacher is a teacher. And a starting teacher in this district starts at $3,600 less than their counterpart at Delsey Regional. And it takes 14 years for a teacher in the elementary district to reach a $60,000 starting salary. At Delsey Regional, it takes 7. In lifetime earnings, and I'm going to go to Clayton because I have a family in Clayton and they are a K-12 district. And socioeconomically, I think we're better off in Franklin Township than they are in Clayton. And yet in Clayton, in the last 5 years of their salary guide, if they never get another raise, people, if they never get another raise, their teachers will make $99,000 more than a teacher in Franklin Township in their last 5 years. And as a taxpayer, I want to know where my money's going. Why is the Dulce Regional District's salary guide so much better than Franklin Township? I'm probably going to ask for that publicly, in public records. Where's the money going? That our teachers here, as elementary teachers, make so much less than their counterparts in Dulce Regional School District. You know, I never had any children. So I've never had any children go through a school system. But I've lived in Franklin Township for 35 years. And there was a time when we could vote on the school budget. Y'all remember that? And I voted for every school budget and supported every school budget. And even though if we have the cap and as long as you stay in it, we don't get to vote on it, I would gladly pay more in my taxes. Because the quality of my life, never having any children in the public school system, depends on how well educated these kids are. I'm 74 years old now, and I'm using a lot of services. I can't fix things myself. I can't do things myself. I don't understand the new technology of much of what is in my house. I had to have someone come teach me how to do my refrigerator buttons. So the quality of education that our kids get now affects all of us for the rest of our lives. And I want to make sure that they have the best teachers, and I'm sure that everyone here, every teacher in the Franklin Township School District are the best and the brightest, but you want to keep them, and you want to keep them coming. It's not what we have, it's what we work for in the future. So as these negotiations go on, and I'm very familiar with negotiations, you never can get equity in a contract, but you can start working at parity over a series of contracts. So as a taxpayer, please keep that in mind as these negotiations go on, and I thank you for your attention and time.
Just one moment. I'd like to address a couple of comments that were made. A lot of what was identified during the last few minutes are items that this board has identified going as far back as 3 to 4 years ago when we were negotiating our last contract. We understand that the salary guide within our district is extremely inequitable. Strides were made at our last negotiation to move in a direction to correct that, and our negotiations this time, the offers that were made were done specifically to address those disparities within the salary guide. As a taxpayer, I myself can understand your concerns. We all here appreciate our teachers and want the best for our teachers. And with that in mind, we made a significant offer at moving those salary guides in the right direction. And to date, we have not received any reciprocation from the association. This is going back to October. So I just want to make that clear that we share the concerns that were brought up, and those are the concerns that we're working with the association to deal with. So, I'm sorry, go ahead. If you could just state your name. Just state your name and address if you don't mind.
I'm Heather Nelson, 333 South Road in Hamilton, although I have been previously a longtime member of Franklin Township.
Great.
So my name's Heather Nelson. I'm a reading specialist at Ritter School right now. I'm also the field hockey coach for Dulce Middle School, the Crusaders. I have been teaching in this district for 5 years, but I've been a part of this community for much longer. I've attended our elementary schools, Delsey Middle School, and eventually graduated from Delsey High School. I loved being a Crusader. I was proud to be a student athlete and having the opportunity to represent our town as I moved away to college. It was never my plan to return to our small town to begin my teaching career, I'll be honest about that. But it didn't take long for me to realize how great it would be to give back to the community that gave me so much. It has been a privilege to teach alongside the same teachers who educated me 20 years ago. They've taught me what makes a good teacher and role model for our students. They've watched me graduate, they've watched me become a wife, and now they're watching me become a mother. I've watched them welcome their own children to this world, their own grandchildren, and will eventually celebrate their retirements, but hopefully not too soon. How beautiful is that? How much more would your job mean to you if you got to go to work every day with your past fifth grade teacher or your past first grade teacher? It means something. That's what builds a community. That's what has always made Franklin Township such a desirable community to be a part of. Unfortunately, that has been changing lately though. As we lose more and more teachers, these students who would love to have the same opportunity as I have will not be able to return home to this. They'll interview for a job here and find that few to none of their past teachers have remained in Franklin Township. We do have an amazing school district. Graduates of Delsey are proud to return home to celebrate their successes with their past teachers. But our teachers need a reason to stay. We are the lowest paying school district in our county, and we have been for some time. This cannot happen if we want to retain teachers and continue to be a desirable community. So please settle now. Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi. Courtney Zematitis, 1128 Streetsboro Road. I stand before you as a former student, a community member, and a teacher in the district. I urge the board to settle a fair contract. As a former student, I can proudly say that my experience has influenced me to move back to the community and seek a teaching career here. Our district was known to provide a quality education delivered by dedicated teachers with years of service in this community. Many families moved to the township for the schools, and many who have been students chose to send their own children through our district. When I began searching for a career in 2017, there were no full-time positions here. As I looked at the teaching staff at the time, many names were familiar. Those teachers were still teaching after I was long gone, and it was clear that this district was one to spend your whole career in. Fast forward, and I finally secured a full-time position. Not only have those familiar faces moved on, but more continue to flee this district over time. And how could this be? This was a district that rarely had new staff, and now they have immediate employment opportunities posted on their website for months at a time. Some might leave for money, but unfortunately this district has a long-standing relationship with the bottom of the list when it comes to salary. Yet our district only has recently had this concerning amount of talent turnover. As a Board of Education and fellow members of this community, I encourage you to reflect on the importance of retaining talent. I encourage you to use your power to make this district as reputable as it once was. I encourage you to start by settling a fair contract.
I'm sorry.
Can they call him to somebody's mic?
Just sit right next to
Is that possible?
I mean, do we have an extra microphone?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's no, it's not.
212.
To the mic, or can you talk? Yeah.
And hold on, I gotta get it working first. Check 1, 2.
Good evening, Mr. Grant. My name is Christine Rambo. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak. I am a loyal 2-decade veteran teacher of this district and a resident. I I am a 2-decade veteran that has been rated highly effective, part of which evaluates me on mutual respect. I am a 2-decade veteran with an excellent attendance record. I am a 2-decade veteran with a record of success in student growth percentile. I am a 2-decade veteran that has educated over 1,000 students that have gone on to be productive members of this community. I am just one example of the amazing colleagues with whom I work. The United States Center for Disease Control's official recommendation for people who are sick with cold or flu is to stay home. They do not recommend going to the doctor's office. Nor have I ever in my life sought medical attention when I was sick. I am clearly an asset to the school district and have never abused my right to call out sick. So it begs the question why I would be asked to provide a doctor's note for a day that I needed to stay home. Because I can't afford the $40 it costs me each time to go to the urgent care. I came to work weeks later with a 104-degree temperature, possibly infecting others around me right before Christmas. If an employee is abusing this right, that problem should be addressed specifically to that employee. There is a national teacher and substitute teacher shortage, and requiring doctor's notes of teachers who are continuing to work without a fair contract does not align with that mutual respect that I was rated highly effective on, and is certainly most counterproductive. I urge the board to please settle the contract now.
Good evening.
My name is Kathy B. Warner, and I am a newly retired teacher from this district, and I'm here to support my wonderful colleagues. I love my Franklin family, have for decades. A big part of my decision to retire early was that I really wasn't enjoying coming to work anymore. I used to look forward to coming to work. I used to really, back in the day, it was fun to come to work. It was enjoyable. The workload was becoming all-consuming. Environment was becoming stressful. Maybe not all the time for me, but I was seeing that it was becoming stressful for a lot of my colleagues. My pay wasn't going anywhere. Really at the top of the scale, I was kind of flatlined. And the talented staff are leaving one by one. I feel that the district does not value what they have. And I've been through many contract negotiations, and I feel it's about time that the district wakes up and appreciates what they have for the sake of the families of this district. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth Aylmer, 306 Sugar Hill Drive, Clayton. Along with some of my colleagues, I'm here to read statements from teachers who have left the Franklin Township Public Schools in the last 2 years. These are important for several reasons. First of all, they are an honest representation of why your teachers are leaving the district. Secondly, this is reflective of what teachers are saying they put in their exit interviews. Finally, in a recent survey of TFEA members, only 23% of the respondents have indicated with confidence that they would plan to return to the Franklin Township Public Schools in the fall. Their reasons for leaving, as indicated by this survey, echo what you will hear in the statements to come. I worked in Franklin for a handful of years. It's the place I began my career and the place that I originally wanted to finish my career. I went to work each and every day with a smile on my face and a goal in mind, to serve the children within the community. I put forth maximum effort daily and worked tirelessly to assure student growth. This effort was matched by my colleagues. The work ethic and desire amongst us all was second to none. Sure, we were applauded at times for our work, but when it came time for contract negotiations, our hard work was forgotten. I went through one set of negotiations during my time in Franklin, and I knew that I would not be around for another. I knew it was time to venture elsewhere, somewhere where I'd be appreciated and compensated fairly. Fair is the key word there.
I was only looking to be compensated as others were throughout the Gloucester County area. I am fully aware that running a school district is a business. I just wonder why every other business can treat their employees fairly. Are they better than me? Are they better than us? That's what it felt like, and that's the message that's been conveyed for many years. I hope you realize that your educators are truly amazing. It is time to retain the quality staff you have and stop letting them slip away. It's time to make up for years of wrongdoing. Please consider the messages you hear this evening as you move forward in negotiations. Thank you.
Music teacher at Ritter School, Riggins Chair of TFEA and Vice President of the Gloucester County Education Association. I will be reading a statement from a colleague who's left the district in the last 2 years. Franklin Township was a really great place to work when I started teaching. The administrators at the time were very supportive and knew me on a personal level. I remember the superintendent coming to check on me several times during my first year. Once I saw the principal from one of the other schools out in public and they approached me personally and asked me how things were going. Over the years, that level of attention and support from administration has dissipated. In fact, I began to feel like administration was actively against some of us, sometimes even against each other. Our opinions on the morale issues in the district were sought, but our input was ignored. The administration made grand attempts to boost our spirits, but our day-to-day needs were seldom met. After leaving Franklin, I have realized that being a teacher is hard everywhere. But if you teach in a place that respects you as a professional, shows appreciation through daily action rather than empty words, and provides compensation reflective of your value, and not some arbitrary politics, you can come to school every day with a purpose and a positive outlook. When you aren't worried about being micromanaged or incessantly questioned, you can actually focus on the students and their needs. When you're made to feel like you're part of the team, you can find comfort in knowing your administration is not only supporting you, but that they support each other as well. Unfortunately, Franklin has been lacking in these areas. Leaving was the best thing I've done for myself in a very long time, despite losing years on the salary guide and taking a pay cut. The weight that has been lifted off my shoulders since I started in my new district is priceless. All I have to say, I sincerely hope you listen carefully to these testimonials and strive to make big changes, or else you risk losing even more amazing teachers. You can start by proposing a contract that reflects their worth, our worth, and that they would be eager to ratify. Thanks.
Hello, Melissa Van Dyne, TFEA teacher at Maywood School. I'm also going to read a statement from a colleague who has left the district in the last 2 years. I loved working at Franklin Township because I loved the people that I worked with. I was inspired by their level of professionalism and care. You can see the impact the staff has had on their students, and the kids made significant progress. It was an incredible thing to witness and be a part of. Sadly, the salary was so low I could not continue working at Franklin Township. But I can leave a job and go somewhere else to do the exact same job, but with a $30,000 increase, it's life-changing. I made $55,000 at Franklin Township and made $88,000 in my current district. Same step, same position. Franklin Township needs to pay their teachers more if you want quality educators who care about your children teaching them. I miss the people, I miss the work I was doing in the community, but I can now have more financial security. The district needs to significantly increase their pay. Thank you.
My name is Tina Audio. I've been teaching art at Maywood School for 15 years. I would like to read a statement from a colleague who has left the district in the last 2 years. For 11 years, I called Franklin BoE my home. I worked with an amazing group of colleagues whom I learned so much from. During the summer of 2021, I was offered a job in another district, even though I wasn't really looking for a new job. They told me right away that I would get half of my steps, and even at half the steps I had at Franklinville, I was still making over $7,000 more a year. You have such a dedicated, amazing group of teachers. Do
do not lose any more due to salary. Thank you.
My name is Tasha Bowman, 7th-year 5th grade teacher at Ritter, also a member of our community. I'm going to be reading an excerpt from a statement made by a colleague who has left the district in the last 2 years. I've met a lot of wonderful people while working at Caroline L. Ritter. Some of the dearest people in my life were met here. I have grown as both an educator and as a person within this district. But the Township of Franklin School District is toxic. The Board of Education, based on numbers alone, should seek, or should I say, should have already sought answers. Look at the numbers of resignations. Look at the number of retirements. Then make a data-driven decision. The parents and guardians that I've come into contact with throughout my years in Franklinville were hard workers with a solid moral foundation. If you fit that mold, then take the time to sit, figure out how you can obtain the truth from within the confines of the school walls and get it. Would you like to know the best part of this type of toxic relationship that exists in all 3 schools? It is at the very expense of the students. Are the students supposed to be able to really thrive when 1, the teacher is incredibly overburdened, and 2, there are simply too many needy students packed into one room without enough support or resources? On my exit interview from Franklin, I was asked what I would recommend to improve our district. I recommend you ask this very question to those who, 1, have not yet resigned, or 2, have not yet felt pushed into retirement. I strongly recommend that you speak to the teachers who are unheard. Speak to the teachers whose names are not in your ear receiving accolades. Listen with a commitment to make a change, and pay your veteran teachers. Pay all your teachers. Thank you.
I'm Denise Wagner, Township resident. I'm a technology teacher at Main Road School. It is year 26 for me. I am going to read a statement from a colleague that has left the district in the last 2 years. There were lots of reasons I left Franklin Township. One was that I got offered more money. Another was that I found a district closer to home. Those are the easy reasons to say. But I also left because I got tired of feeling like I was of value to the district, but not feeling like I was valued by them. There are lots of ways to show you value a teacher. You make their voice feel like it's being heard. You tell them they're doing a good job. You pay them a salary that shows that you believe they're worth holding on to. Please settle the contract. This district has some of the most talented teachers I've ever met. They love the kids. They work long beyond their contracted hours, even when they're not in the school buildings. And they do so much that goes unnoticed. Notice them with a fair contract. Don't let another teacher leave because they don't feel well.
Hello, my name is Devin Broggy, and I teach at the Ritter School. I'd like to read an excerpt from a former colleague that has left the last 2 years. I left Franklinville in the summer of 2021 due to a job offer from another local district. I took the job because while they could only offer step 1 to all new hires, the step 1 salary was higher than what my step 6 would have been if I stayed in Franklinville. Additionally, my new district offered higher stipends for denying insurance, which has helped my family save money in the end. Another point to add in my new district, I have had numerous professional development days where my time is given back to me for report cards, grading, work on unrequired one-line PE training, etc. I have not had to do any fluff PD on things I did time again at Franklinville. I can count on both hands how many times I had to add the same PD about SEL and standards-based grading when nothing was different or new at Franklin. I also left Franklinville because of the toxic work environment, lack of admin support with student and parent concerns, and the ever-changing curriculum with little help from the curriculum office. Additionally, the amount of things we had to do each day, week, year was getting unbearable with little support. Also, for what it's worth, I absolutely adore my colleagues and learned everything I could from them in the 5 years there. I still talk with most of them and have made such great friends.
This is my 20th year at Ritter School, and I would like to read a statement from a colleague who has left the district left the district in the last 2 years. I left Franklinville because I was able to receive insurance for my entire family without being tenured. Even though family medical can be provided, the cost was too expensive and would have taken up the majority of my paychecks. The district in which I moved to, within Gloucester County, had me sacrifice a few steps, but I am making more than I would if I would have stayed in Franklin.
Hello, my name is Christina Sarbello. I work at Ritter School. I'd like to read an excerpt from a statement written by a colleague who left the district in the last 2 years. If you would like to read the full statement, please see Beth Palmer. Leaving a school after receiving your tenure is not generally what teachers want to do, especially when they love their colleagues and have created bonds with their families going through the district. With that being said, leaving Franklin Township has been the best thing I've ever done for my mental health. There are no sense of family first in this district. Family did not matter. If your child was sick, oh well. Family dying, hope you have days saved up. Are you sick? Mandatory doctor's notes. Having a baby? How could you do this to us? Franklin Township administration did not care. I was a number, and they would replace me, and it would be just fine for them. Another reason I left Franklin Township was the pay. The teacher in this district are underpaid by leaps and bounds. I left and was hired a few steps lower than I would have been paid in Franklin Township, and I still make thousands more than I would have made if I stayed here. The amount these teachers are paid to work with several behavior problems are given, and it's also insane. Working in Franklin Township, I thought it was a normal thing to deal with students who needed to be restrained frequently or had outbursts that destroyed the rooms around the school. It is not normal. Those behaviors are scarcely seen in other districts. In fact, I have yet to see it in my current district, and my room is situated right next to an APU room. Looking back, I am so sad that I wasted so many years of my life in Franklin Township, and I would have made more leaps and bounds sooner and left. Something needs to be done, and teachers need to be treated better, or the district will continue to lose the amazing educators, and the students of this district will be the ones who suffer the most.
My name is Lauren Lascala. I am a 5th grade teacher over at Caroline Ritter. I am a drama teacher. I do not need the microphone. I am reading a statement tonight from a colleague who has left the district last year. I never thought I would have left Franklin Township. So the end of last year, it just wasn't in my plans. Over the years, I made a home there. I established myself as a teacher and worked hard to build relationships with the families within the community. I loved who I worked with, and I felt that this was the district where I wanted to have my career and retire. Felt like I made a difference to the students, and I was able to teach throughout the years and look forward to seeing them at the grad walk every spring. Unfortunately, I could no longer afford to work in this district. Coming into a contract year, I braced myself for what I knew was coming. Every other year was a fight, and I knew this one was going to be no different. I was ready to fight for our kids and staff, getting everyone what they deserve for all their hard work. Then the impasse was quickly declared, meaning a freeze in pay. And along with everything else going on in the economy and the world, I became worried about being able to provide for my family. It was with a heavy heart that I knew I could make more money in another district and feel more secure in being able to support my family. My decision was not an easy one. I did not go shopping around to other districts. However, an opportunity came to me to go to a district that would support me and my family better financially, and I had to take it. This was by far one of the hardest decisions I have ever had to make, and I never thought that I would have to make it. It is imperative that Franklin Township pays their teachers more competitively in order to retain the highly effective teachers who truly go above and beyond for their students. I wish I never had to make that decision, but the pay was so significantly below what is needed in order to stay afloat in today's economy. Franklin Township will continue to see a purge of experienced, high-quality teachers if they do not catch up to similar districts and pay the teachers what they deserve. Thank you.
My name is Christina Lott. I am a teacher at Ritter School for the last
reading an excerpt from a statement made by a colleague who has left the district in the last 2 years. I would be happy to speak about my experience as a teacher in the Franklin BoE School District. I absolutely love the students and my coworkers. I did not love the lack of support from the administration when concerns would arise. I'll be blunt and say that the pay was never great and absolutely not the reason I was there. I overlooked it though because I loved my job and I did not want to leave my students. When I started looking around for other jobs, I realized just how low the pay is in Franklin BoE. I knew that leaving those students behind would be difficult, but I had to put my family first. I was also miserable due to the toxic environment. I never did receive an exit interview. If I did, I would have said those two factors are what drove me out of Franklin BoE, the culture of the building and the low salary. Thank you for your time.
I'm Jenny Riccioni. I'm a TFPA member. I work at Ritter School. I've been there since 2009. I currently only make about $6,000 to $7,000 more than a step 1 hire. And if you're already aware through your background, you know that that is probably well below step 1 at comparable districts in the area with all of my years of experience. I would like to read a statement from a colleague who has resigned from the district within the last 2 years. I gave 11 years of my life to this district and I feel very invested in it. I love my coworkers, had good relationships with my administration, and was given numerous leadership opportunities. I built relationships with entire families of students in my lifetime. My story is not like many of the others that you have heard tonight, and I'm not making light of their experiences. My time here also had its frustrations and stress. However, I did leave because of the money. It can be very easy to be dismissive about teachers leaving this district to make more money. Here is why it matters. The district has become a revolving door for teachers. Veteran teachers are leaving and good teachers aren't staying. To us, our students, and I'm sure their parents, this is not a business. This is the phrase that is so often heard in this district. We are not a factory to churn out students to perform highly unstandardized tests so that you can see good data. These buildings are a second home to our kids. My daughter started school this year, and I certainly do not want them to feel like I am sending them to a business every day. I want to send them to a place that is safe and caring, where there are familiar faces that I've built relationships with. This is achieved by having a staff that is consistent and a staff that feels safe and cared for themselves. Money itself does not improve test scores and learning outcomes. No matter how many new programs and resources are purchased, positive learning outcomes come first from the dedication of the teachers. Teachers who feel valued, who have years of experience in their content area, and who belong to a team of teachers that are consistent and that they've built strong relationships with. The second thing that contributes to positive learning outcomes is the safety the students feel in taking learning risks and wanting to come to school. This comes from having teachers that are familiar to them, that possibly taught their siblings, and that they see going above and beyond. What money can do is keep experienced, highly motivated teachers in this district. And I hope that is a priority for this district and not something to dismiss. As I continued up the pay scale of 14 years of experience, seeing brand new teachers in the other districts make more than me, it became more evident that for the sake of my family, I need to make a change. On top of that, every contract negotiation requires us to fight tooth and nail to be compensated for the amount of time and effort we give to this district. To hear that no one cares about us wanting more money tells us that you do not care about us or our family's well-being. Our well-being is directly correlated to the well-being of this district, and that is why the money matters. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Brandt, members of the Board of Education. My name is John Stagliano, 32-year veteran in this district. Tonight I'd like to address the board about 3 vitally important elements of education. First, what do teachers really do in the classroom? There's an old adage that many of you know. Those who can do and those who can't teach. Any educator from any era of education will tell you that this is a huge insult to all teachers. Firstly, this assumes that anyone can teach anyone anything from day one. This is simply not true. Some of the members of the Board of Education, you are educators or former educators. You know, and we know, that it takes years of practice to get our craft down. And those of us who are, and we are always advancing our crafts. It takes years to develop into a good and successful teacher. More than ever before, a teacher is a facilitator of learning. The job of a teacher is not to give information to students and then give them a test. A teacher has two purposes. First, to help children to learn to think for themselves about topics they are learning. And second, to guide children to discover the purpose that they have been given by God in their lives. When we do this as educators, we fulfill our true purpose in the classroom, and we develop a great relationship with our children. This leads me to my next point, and that is that these children are not pieces of data to be thrown into a bar graph. Some members of this board may think that data is everything. We certainly know that the politicians think that data is everything. However, the reality is that data doesn't tell us much about who our students really are. Data may give us an indication of a child's areas of development, but it is far from the most important element. In education, during COVID, the new educational buzz was SEL. Social, emotional learning. We needed to find ways to teach children about their social and emotional well-being. Good teachers have always done this throughout their entire careers. The data and SEL should never be connected in anywhere in the same sentence. The real data on children is what we teachers see in the classroom. The good teachers we have here in Franklinville, those who are presently here, and the many who have left this district, have always focused on the real needs of their students and the climate and culture within our classrooms. This brings me to my last point. When children feel accepted in a classroom, a good classroom climate and culture is developed and makes children excited to come to school. The same is true about teachers. When the climate and culture in a school or a school district are positive, teachers are excited to come to school and they want to stay. When children feel they are being fairly treated and evaluated by their teachers, they will grow from the feedback. Again, the same is true about teachers. When a teacher feels that she or he is being fairly evaluated and treated, they value comments and feedback from their administrators. The old ways of people staying in one place, be it a company or a school district for life, are long gone. People want to work in a place where they feel they are fairly compensated and fairly treated. The more positive they feel, the more they will be willing to stay around. Longevity is important in any organization, and certainly it is important in education. Each town and each school district has a unique feel to it, and it takes time to learn this culture. We need teachers to stay in Franklinville. We need the new teachers who have joined us to want to be here for the long term. We do that in two ways. Fair pay that increases every year, and establishing and maintaining a positive climate and culture. And this was not in my statement, but I would urge, okay, you heard a lot of statements from a lot of people. Mr. Walden, I complimented you on the leadership you showed this district during COVID. Okay, it was second to none compared around. But I think maybe it may be time to have an open dialogue in this district with the teachers that are here and let you hear what they are feeling so we can move this district forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Any other members of the public like to come forward? Before we close the public portion, I'd like to comment on several of the comments that were made. Obviously, the reoccurring theme was money. Everybody wants more money. That's understood. In our negotiations this particular time, we made a significant offer to move the salary guides in the proper direction to help those individuals on the lower tiers of the salary guide. There's no reason why a teacher should get a $9,000 increase while another teacher in 1 year, while another teacher in our district works for 8 years to get a $1,000 increase. Everyone is in agreement that the salary guides are completely broken. And because of that, this district put forth an offer of over 5% in order to fix those guides. And that offer, the last offer with the last guide offer was made in October, to which we still have not gotten a response. So to everyone that's coming up saying, settle now, I 100% agree with you. I would love to settle now. I've been trying to settle since October with no luck. I'm ready to settle the contract this evening, if that's the wish of the association. However, within our power, there's only one thing that we have, and that's money. And how much more money do you want us to offer? I mean, when was the last time that you got 5% in a negotiation? Who else in the county is getting more than 5%? What's the solution?
Mr. Grant, I see people shaking their heads. I don't need it. Okay. I see people shaking their heads. I don't know if they don't believe it or they think it's not enough.
I mean, it's the truth, but 5%, in my opinion, is a reasonable offer. More than reasonable, considering some of the increases on county average, as well as some of the increases that we've got in past years. I mean, the fact that you refuse to put the money where the money needs to go is not the responsibility of the board. Mrs. Claypack, do you have a comment?
Well, I think it's inappropriate to talk about negotiations at this time. I thought, ethically, we were supposed to do it as one team and another team, and I think...
Well, excuse me, it's only inappropriate for our side not to talk about it publicly because every single person that came up was referring to negotiations.
No, they were basically saying they would like to settle, but...
We would like to settle too. We would have liked to settle months and months ago.
I know, but everyone doesn't understand what you're offering and what the proposals were on each side. It's not totally about money, and I explained that during our negotiations. And some of the letters stated that it's not always money. And longevity. You need to keep your teachers. So it should be throughout the whole scale. And what you're offering is also increasing the years to get to the top of the scale. So you have from 18 years, I think we have 19, 18 and a half, 19, and it would take 21 years to get to the top with what you are offering us. And like you said, it's not steps, it's years also. We also want to keep our teachers. That's really important to us. We, as some of the veteran teachers, are trying to get them to stay. So we don't want them to say, okay, well, I'm getting a good increase here. But then as I go up on the scale, other districts are offering a whole lot more on the top of the scale.
I don't, that's an inaccurate statement.
Well, also I think, and I've told you before, between emails, that we will be coming up with another salary guide to present to you.
That's completely fine. If you want to drag this out for another year, that's fine with me as well. But I don't want your association coming here to this board making comments like settle now when our last presentation to you was in October that you still have not countered. Okay?
Well,
we provided you with an offer and a guide, and we've gotten no response since October.
I think there was a response saying that we weren't going to accept that particular guide, that we were going to, make a counter, and that's exactly what we're working on.
Okay, so you responded no, and we'll make a counter, and that we still have not gotten said counter.
November, December, January, February, 4 months.
Well, you hang signs up that says 203 days without a contract. That's because you've delayed settling the contract. That's not because we're delaying.
Well, we could have settled this far back. I mean, and I agree to that, we could have. But some of the other issues we have in the proposal were never addressed. And I think in order, I've never, in all my contracts that I've settled, I've never done a salary guide before we addressed all the other issues in the proposal. And that, even though we brought it up the other day when we talked about it, you know, it's like, okay, we'll look at this, we'll look at this, we'll look at this, but there were no answers as to, and that had to do with the climate of the district, that had to do with some family illness days, some things that we put in our proposal that were important to us. And, you know, we never got any straight answers on that either.
Well, I think you got an answer to most of them. We said, let's iron out the salary guides, and we can make some accommodations on some of these things. Because at the end of the day, what matters is the salary guides, whether or not we're going to fix the salary guides. The salary guides are broken. Everybody knows that they're broken, and that's the reason why we're losing teachers. So if you're not willing to fix them, then what else is there to talk about?
And that's not the only reason.
It is the reason we're losing teachers.
That's fine, but
We can agree
I
with
mean, we will be coming up soon with more salary guides, and hopefully we will be able to sit down and talk about it. And it would be fair for the beginning, as also to the veterans that have been here for a long time. And that's what we're hoping to
Not gonna happen.
a fair contract.
again, we believe that our offer and the guide that we presented is a very strong guide. It's very equitable. It benefits a much greater amount of people than the guide that you had proposed. Primarily on the lower scale, you know, 1 to 7 steps. But if you have something alternatively, we're happy to look at it. However, we need to have it presented to us.
Now, we will present something. We know where you want to be, and we know where we want to be. And our job as the two negotiating teams is to meet in the middle.
Well, where we want to be is we don't want to be losing teachers. That's where we want to be. So I'm not really sure where you guys want to be.
We want to retain our teachers.
Well, we're on the same page then. So, you know, I'm not really sure where the downfall is here, but, you know, as far as the money goes, I think 5% is more than sufficient to start addressing some of the issues. I mean, we have a limited amount of funds. I mean, we're not, you know.
And I believe that, but it's 5 years, but the other years were not 5%, but the other years were not 5%.
They were 3 and change, so, which again is county average or above.
4.2, 4.2, 4.2, which is almost equal to what the 5%, 3.
Regardless, you know, an offer's been presented. It's a solid offer. I think you can put it up against any other offer anybody's getting in the county, and we're here and ready to, you know, proceed at any point. So, but the ball's in your court. And it has been since October. Yeah. So,
We will definitely be getting back.
thank you. Anyone else?
When did you expect?
Excuse me, 1 second. Yeah. Anyone else from the public like to comment? If not, I'll make a motion to close the second public comment portion. Do I have a second? All in favor? Barb, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When is the next negotiation meeting? Because I haven't heard anything.
There is none at this point. Irene to Irene's credit, she did reach out to me, and I believe that she has a meeting with her people on February the 23rd.
23rd, yeah.
23rd, so.
So we're hoping we hear right after that, right?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. Any other questions? Are there any other board member comments, or?
I would say.
If not, I think that concludes our meeting. Our next scheduled work session, we have a budget work session on the 15th of March. So come prepared for that. It could take a few hours. And then our next regular meeting is on March the 20th. So, with that, I make a motion to adjourn at 8:20. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Good job.